I think it was in 1965 that the Florida Council of Churches decided to have governmental seminars annually. It was a two-a-day event in which they would invite members of clergy as well as laity from throughout the state in order that they could become acquainted with the issues that they thought that congregations would be interested in. They decided that rather than just a two-day event, that there should be a constant presence in Tallahassee about issues that they cared about. Other churches thought that that was certainly a viable possibility, and they began to develop it so that finally then it came into being known as Florida Impact. Particularly the Florida Council of Churches was concerned about the farm workers and the conditions in which they were working.
They worked so hard for the farm workers. They went to every single solitary legislature to tell them how important it was that we do something for these poor men and women that are leaving their babies out in the middle of the farms, in the middle of all that chemical, in the middle of everything. They worked for the daycare centers to set up the daycare centers for those farm workers. They worked to set up some kind of an educational system.
My reflections on Florida Impact's 25 years are that they're the first people in the state of Florida who really put a face on what at one time was a very serious problem with migrant workers. They would bring the migrant workers to Tallahassee, and because legislators and the governor and other folks here got a chance to actually see these people firsthand and hear what their problems were, some changes were made. And it wouldn't have happened without Florida Impact.
There are about 3,000 lobbyists registered to lobby before the Florida legislature. And when you go to the lobbyist book, you see dozens for a number of different business activities usually. But there's only one that we think about when we think about organizations and individuals that are out there giving a voice to those people who really don't have a voice. And the people who have the least voice in Tallahassee are those who are homeless and those who don't have food in their stomachs. And fortunately for those people, Florida Impact is around and has been around for a long time, fighting for their interests.
Well, I was elected to the Florida legislature in 1975 and served for 14 years, and during that period of time I worked very closely with Florida Impact and its representatives on a whole host of issues. Florida Impact stood up for people that no one else represented, whether it was farm worker issues or school breakfast or other things that impacted that whole group of people. Florida Impact was there.
One of the ways that Florida Impact communicates with its constituencies is prepare. And prepare are the issues that the Florida Impact Board chooses that they say they are going to emphasize for that particular year. And then research has been done on them, and they have written it in a compact form, and they put all that information in this little book and send it out to members. And then after the legislature is completed, then they send out to say to the constituents, particularly those who aren't in the presence of Tallahassee, what has happened, and that's called update.
While there at the Department of Children and Families serving as Assistant Secretary for Economic Self-Sufficiency, Dr. Deborah came to me one day with an offer I could not refuse. She proposed that Florida Impact joint venture with the Florida Department of Children and Families to get state and federal funding to start a food stamp outreach program. And the rest is history. The Food Stamp Hotline has now served millions of Floridians in terms of screening and eligibility for the food stamp program. We were very fortunate to partner with Florida Impact and Dr. Deborah and her staff in terms of the Elder Nutrition Program, where we were able to pilot food stamp outreach for elders around the state.
Tremendous efforts are going on throughout the nation. And I can tell you what I see from where I sit, Florida Impact has been a key cornerstone to the efforts of child nutrition, reauthorization, both on the national and on the state level. This has been an amazing success story. And every time I think about Florida Impact, a glow comes over me because there is a deep chord of resonance with the faith communities that Florida Impact has direct relationship with, in particular the Jewish community.
Florida Impact has been very involved in making sure that kids who wouldn't normally get a breakfast or a lunch during the summer months, although they might require for reduced meals during the school year, get those meals over the summer. So today there are kids in Florida who aren't going hungry that otherwise would be hungry today if it wasn't for Florida Impact.
We have been very appreciative of the media, both locally and around the state, this kind of support that they have responded again and again over these 25 years. They've never been bashful about it, and they've never been tight about it. They've been very supportive, for which Florida Impact cannot say enough good to say, we thank you so very much.
Florida Impact, the work that they do is so important to organizations, for example, like the one that I work for. With the relationship that we have with them, we are able to make an impact on legislative issues that as a small organization we could never do on our own. We just don't have the capacity to do it. And it's wonderful because we don't even have to try to acquire it because they have that capacity. The strength that that Florida Impact brings to our organization has to do with our ability to sort of maximize our resources. Because we're a small organization, we are able to work with them on issues of mutual concern, and the things that they do on a statewide level affects us on a community level, and so it builds our capacity and it builds our influence.
Something that you don't see very often. We try to make sure that all nonprofits do it, but Florida Impact sets the standard for working with both parties, Democrat and Republican, in a way that is non-political and is based solely on the merits of what's the right thing to do. And I think Florida Impact is certainly widely recognized and respected for its nonpartisan approach to doing good for people.
The Florida Department of Children and Families has found Florida Impact to be very flexible and to be able to work through all sorts of administrations and all sorts of transitions.
My name is Charlie Simmons. I'm the Regional Director of the Food Stamp Program in the Southeast region. I work for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and I'd like to congratulate Florida Impact on their 25 years of public service. We're very pleased that through their partnership with the Florida Department of Children and Families, that they provide valuable assistance in making sure that all the people that are eligible for the food stamp program are given an opportunity to participate.
Let me first say this has been a tremendous partnership between my zone and Florida Impact.
It's been a pleasure to have participated and worked with Florida Impact over the years. You have been a strong voice of information and advocacy on behalf of health and nutrition for the people of Florida. The first 25 years has been stellar. I look forward to even better service in the future. Congratulations, best wishes.
Happy 25th, Florida Impact.
Happy 25th anniversary, Florida Impact.
Happy anniversary, Florida Impact.
Happy birthday, Florida Impact.
On this, the 25th anniversary of Florida Impact, we say happy birthday, and may you have many more years of success ahead of you. Thank you.